Welcome to today's program on Armourgate Radio Communications. This is the third week of this quarter, and we've been looking at the theme leadership, technology, and the future. I'm your darling host, Kola Johnson, and I bring to you another episode of this wonderful, educative, and insightful program. Stay with me as we go on. Last week, we looked into how data is important for the leader, but that data should not be the final decision maker, and that emotional intelligence is a skill for the leader where AI can enhance emotional intelligence but not be left to take the final decision. Empathy must guide the leader into making the final decision. We looked at this very important topic last week, how that empathy must always guide the decision, and we must look into the idea of ethics. Ethics is very important. We must look, ethics will guide the use of AI so that data is not misused. We looked at several examples, Cleveland, in such places that we look at several examples. So I bring to you another episode today, and today we will have an interesting topic to explore. And this topic is one that will dive deep into the past. We help us dive deep into the past. Don't forget, we are talking about leadership, technology, and the future. We dive deep into the past. We explore the present and look into the future of technology. So we are looking at the marriage of leadership and technology. Through this program, one thing have been quite constant and is common: the fact that technology, humanity, data, and even leadership need to see each other as being in a collaborative or symbiotic relationship, so that we can have a more futuristic decision making for the leader. So leaders must drive on data. Leaders must drive on the evolution of technology. Leaders must ride on the outcome of what data is given to us, intelligent machines. And so today it's going to be a bit historical because we look at the past, the present, and the future. So it's very important. So please stay with me. On today's topic, basically we'll be looking at from industrial tools to intelligence system, rethinking leadership in the age of technological evolution. Want to see how we can rethink leadership in the age of technological evolution. So this topic will suck you in. It will open your eyes and it will help you see into the future. So you will enjoy this episode. I promise you will enjoy it. Just follow me on the ride as I take you through history to the present and into the future. There's a sound to every era of human progress. There's that sound, there's that progression, there's that wave that comes with every human progress. In the 18th century, it was the hiss of steam and the clang of steel. You see that now. And in the 20th century, it became the hum of engines and the clink of typewriters. I know some of you already understand the times when we're using typewriters, making those. But today it's different. It's quieter. It's invisible. The pulse of data flowing through networks, the rhythm of algorithms deciding outcomes, and the voice of artificial intelligence whispering suggestions to leaders across the world. And this is to all humanity, as a matter of fact, that we hear the whispers of AI, we hear the whispers of technology in the algorithm, in everything we do. Suggestions from AI. There are even suggestions from AI that we feel like, oh, do I need to go this way? Such that there's this debate around, oh, should we go with the decisions or the suggestions AI give to us? Oh, is the suggestion AI giving to us, is it all encompassing enough? Which we looked at last week, and I will advise you go and check last week's episode. We are living in a defining moment of humanity, and that's what we are living in. A time when technology is not just a tool to use, but an environment we live in. This is the age of intelligent system, and to lead in this age, we must rethink what leadership truly means. And if you look at what we've been exploring for the past 3 weeks, we've been exploring what the true meaning of leadership is, looking at it from the past, looking at it in the present, or looking at it in the future from the eyes of technology, because that is what we have found ourselves right now. Now, I want to briefly talk about from STEAM to systems, the evolution of leadership. And this speaks to every generation has faced a transformation in how work is done and in how leaders rise to guide it. I want to make a quote by Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is the founder of World Economic Forum. And he called this the fourth industrial revolution. He described this moment we are in. He said it's a fusion of the physical, digital, and biological worlds. I will repeat that. He said it's a fusion of the physical, digital, and biological world. Klaus reminds us that while the fourth industrial revolution harnessed mechanical power through steam, and the second used electricity for mass production, the third revolution introduced computers and automation. You see that? But now the fourth goes further. It's intelligent. We are not just looking at computers. We are not just looking at automation, but we are looking at intelligence. We are looking at interconnectivity. We are looking at self-learning. Machines now make decisions, analyze emotions, and even write music. And I stayed on this last week. There's a particular album on YouTube that is AI generated. You can see how intelligent machines are now. So we are talking of intelligence. We are not just talking about computers. We are not just talking about automation. These things are good, and they come even with the third and a bit of the fourth industrial revolution. But in this fourth industrial revolution, we are talking intelligence. We are talking intelligence. And the question still remains: what kind of leaders will thrive when the tools we use are now capable of thinking with them? So that's a very good food for thought I will leave to you. And let's look at the leadership that is forged in steel and steam. This is looking at the industrial age. We want to look at the past leadership that is forged in steel and steam. Now, let's go back to where it all began. In the age of industry, leadership was about command and control. Factories needed order. Production needed discipline. Workers followed instructions. Leaders gave them. That is how leaders were known. Give the order. That's how you know a leader. I want you to think of Henry Ford's assembly line. Just think about that for a moment. It's a marvel of efficiency and precision. It transformed manufacturing, but it also defined a style of leadership that was mechanical in nature. The leader was the engineer of people, not their partner. You see, that's another thing entirely. Decisions were top down. Creativity was rare. Success was measured in volume, speed, and obedience. But leadership in this era was about control. That's what we saw in this, the mastery of tools and the optimization of labor. That's what we saw in those times. But now, coming to the digital age, that is when data became the new machine. Moving from steel and steam now to data, where data and intelligence, artificial intelligence now meet. That's what we are talking about. So we now have computer, and with it we have the digital revolution. Suddenly, information replaced steel as the backbone of power. The leader's role shifted from controlling hands to managing minds. By the 19th century, companies like IBM, Microsoft, and Apple showed that innovation could no longer come from a factory floor. It came from ideas. Leaders like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were not just engineers or managers. They were visionaries who understood how to merge technology with imagination. Data became the new oil. Networks became the new factories. And leadership had to adapt from giving orders to inspiring innovation. So leadership moved from just, do this, you put this here, you put this here, to now inspiring innovation. And this is how leaders must see differently. We must see that differently. And one of those things, Armourgate is very, very key. One thing we do at Armourgate is to strategically position your organization to be relevant in today's business world, with global point of view. We to position you in a globally relevant way. Armourgate is at the cutting edge of business transformation and strategy execution for business growth. And I know one thing I'm certain of, working with our Armourgate is that you can always reach out to us. You can always reach out to us to help with your business solution, especially in helping you inspire your workers, helping inspire the innovation that is needed. We can see beyond the now and really inspire the needed innovation. So you just need to contact us and what you need to do. Now, you must understand that even then, digital technology remained a tool, something external, something leaders could control. But today, that boundary has dissolved. That's just the truth. We now talk about in the intelligent age. We now talk about technology. You begin to think with us. When technology begins to think with us, that's what we're talking about now. So, welcome to the intelligent age. Welcome to the intelligent age. This is where machines not only execute commands but learn, reason, and predict. According to Infosys Leadership in the Age of AI report 2018, over 90% of global C-level executives already report measurable benefits from deploying AI in their organizations. These benefits range from productivity gains to entirely new business models. In this era, leadership isn't about commanding people or even managing technology. It's about orchestrating intelligence. I love that. The leader is no longer the one who knows, but the one who learns faster. Note the word faster, because leadership has always been about learning, and that is the very important thing. Leadership have always belong to learners. Howbeit, the rate of learning is changing fast. That's why I say you should know the word faster. You must learn faster. You must learn to learn fast now, because the world is changing by I want to take Satya Nadella, that's the CEO of Microsoft, when he took in 2014. Microsoft was seen as rigid and bureaucratic. Nadella redefined leadership around empathy, learning, and collaboration. He declared, "Our industry does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation." Under his guidance, Microsoft shifted from a know-it-all culture to a learn-it-all one. And within 5 years, its value tripled. This is what leadership in the digital era looks like. Humility in learning, agility in adaptation, and clarity in purpose. This is what leadership is about now. I want to talk about something. Moving on, I want to talk about something. Technology as an environment, not a tool. Technology as an environment, not a tool. Again, Klaus Schwab, he warned that technology is not an exogenous force over which we have no control. It is a reflection of who we are. Technology is not an exogenous force over which we have no control. It is a reflection of who we are. And that's just the truth. In other words, every machine we build mirrors our collective mind. Leaders today must see technology not as a hammer, but as a habitat. You see that? We live inside technology. Our communication, our culture, our commerce, all depend on it. The MIT Sloan Future of Leadership report found that 93% of global workers believe being digitally savvy is essential to perform well in their roles. Yet, only 25% strongly agree that their organizations are as purpose-driven as their leaders claim. It's a powerful lesson. In an intelligent world, leadership is not just about using digital tools. It's about aligning digital transformation with human values. And that's very important to note. And at this point, I think I need to make this clear about Armourgate. Armourgate has a record of transformative programs done in the past, of which we still drive the present. So we are still doing it even in the present. So I'm telling you now that your organization is in safe hands with us, and your strategy is better developed with Armourgate. We are very good at Armourgate in helping and driving innovation and strategy for your organization. We don't just believe in strategy, we actually believe more in execution, because strategy is not enough except it is executed. The true test of strategy is execution. You see now. So this have been Armourgate Radio Communication today. I'm your host, Kola Johnson, on the show. I'll be right back after this break. Please just stay with us.
Armourgate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Armourgate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@thearmourgate.org or call +234 810 999 6666, +234 807 957 4151, and +161 0504 6026. www.thearmourgate.org. Armourgate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.
Welcome back to Armourgate Radio Communication. It's been me, your host, Kola Johnson, and I hope you've been enjoying the program so far. It's been insightful and engaging. I want to talk about the new leadership mindset: human, data-driven, and purposeful. Across industries, we see a profound redefinition of leadership. And the Infosys study, again, found that 77% of executives believe their leaders can be trained for new AI-driven roles, but only if leaders invest in reskilling and empathy. The MIT Sloan study calls this the affective digital transformation. Leaders must transform themselves emotionally, not just their enterprise. This new mindset blends three core dimensions, and I'll mention those three core dimensions. Very important. Number one, human-centered intelligence. Yes, seeing people, not processes, as the true engine of innovation is very important, especially for the leader. And I mentioned a part of this last week. We must see people, not processes. We must see people. Ethical agility, that is understanding the moral, that's the second one, understanding the moral consequences of technological choices. And number three is continuous learning, leading by curiosity, not certainty. Because in our day and age, we evolve by the day. You evolve by the day. By the time you wake up tomorrow, something else is coming on. By the time you wake up next tomorrow, something else is up. That is the way we actually grow in this time and age. And that's how we become relevant in this time and age. Mary Barra of General Motors once said, the auto industry will change more in the next 5 years than it has in the last 50. I'll say it again. The auto industry will change more in the next 5 years than it has in the last 50. She wasn't exaggerating. And let's note that she wasn't exaggerating. Under her leadership, GM shifted its identity from a car manufacturer to a mobility technology company, investing in electricity and autonomous systems. That required a mindset shift. Again, it requires a mindset shift, not from metal to code, but from manufacturing to meaning. From manufacturing to meaning. Things are changing, dear leaders. Globally, things are changing, and we must understand this change, so we are not stuck in the old ways. And that is why we are doing this program. We are having this kind of program, so we are not stuck in the old ways. Things are changing, and we must change with how things are changing. I want to talk about people and power, human leadership in machine world. Technology amplifies what already exists in leadership. If a leader lacks empathy, automation multiplies alienation. I'll take that again. If a leader lacks empathy, automation will multiply alienation. If a leader has vision, technology multiplies impact. I think I would like to take that part again so you can understand what I'm saying. If a leader lacks empathy, automation multiplies alienation. If a leader has vision, technology multiplies impact. And this is true. Technology is not supposed to reduce impact with a leader that has a vision. It's supposed to multiply it. It's supposed to increase it. Sometimes automate it, but it's supposed to increase impact. That's why ethical leadership has become non-negotiable. As AI systems begin to influence hiring, finance, and even justice, leaders must act as guardians of fairness. We have to be the ones who act as guardians of fairness. Again, Infosys warns that 49% of organizations cannot deploy desired AI technologies because their data isn't ready. And often, this is due to human bias embedded in systems. Thus, we must see leadership today as demanding both technological literacy and moral clarity. Yes, it demands technological literacy and human moral clarity. Let us consider Jacinda Ardern. That's the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. She used technology not just for efficiency, but for empathy, live streaming decisions, addressing citizens directly, and rebuilding trust through transparency. Her leadership wasn't about the system. It was about human connection through the system. So technology is supposed to provide a platform by which you connect with your people, not a platform of divide. I'll take that again. Technology is supposed to be a connection pipe, not a dividing tool. And it's important we note that. The decision-making process in the intelligent era has also been affected. In the industrial age, decisions were hierarchical, like I read from the beginning. In the digital age, they became data-driven. Now, in the intelligent age, they are collaborative. Leaders must blend intuition with information. We must balance the analytical power of AI with the emotional power of human judgment. Again, I like quoting Infosys. In their report, it says that 80% of late-stage AI adopters are already using AI not just for automation, but for innovation, augmenting human insights to create new products and experiences. This means the future leadership isn't about replacing humans with machines. It's about designing partnerships between them. Again, as IBM's AI ethics board puts it, you augment, not replace human intelligence. It should augment human intelligence, not replace it. As I begin to look and unpack all of these things, I want us to look into global lessons. That is what the best leaders are doing differently. Globally, we want to have a global view. On Armourgate Radio Communications, when we do programs, we like having a global view of whatever we are doing. So we are not thinking that all we know is just what is around us. So let's look at global trends shaping modern leadership. And I'll start with Japan's Toyota. Japan's Toyota applies AI not to replace workers, but to support craftsmanship. Their concept of Jidoka, pardon me if I didn't pronounce it well, Jidoka, that is automation with a human touch, ensures that machines stop when something seems wrong, allowing humans to fix it. Now that's Japan's Toyota. Let's look at Amazon now. Amazon uses predictive analytics to anticipate customer needs, yet still prioritize human decision making in final customer care. Again, look at Apple. Apple integrates technology into lifestyle, but its success lies in empathy-driven design, not in code alone. Empathy-driven design. Now let's look at Unilever. Unilever trains leaders in digital ethics and sustainability, blending machine insight with human responsibility. And at this point, I would like to say that at Armourgate, we have a product, we call it ASAIF. This product is designed to help organizations use technology to enhance strategy implementation. To use technology to enhance strategy implementation, and it's very important. So we can help you. These are ways that Armourgate can really help you. As we bring this insight to you, we want you to understand that we're not just bringing it, but we have what it takes to actually help your organization strategically position itself for impact, not just locally, but globally. In all of these cases, leadership becomes a moral act, a choice to use intelligence responsibly. Africa may not lead in AI patents or robotics yet, but it leads in adaptation. From Kenya's M-Pesa revolution in mobile banking to Nigeria's Flutter with simplifying global payments, African innovators show how technology can leapfrog traditional barriers. In many African contexts, leadership in technology means inclusion, ensuring that digital systems empower, not exclude. Safaricom's, that's the CEO of Safaricom's, Peter Ndegwa, describe it best. Technology is only as good as the lives it improves. Technology is only as good as the life it improves. This, it explains or aligns perfectly with Infosys finding that AI's greatest value emerges when paired with human-centered decision and community engagement. Now, let's look at the future of leadership. The future of leadership, from control to collaboration. And this is my advocation since the beginning of this particular theme, this quarter. More of collaboration, not just control. The industrial leader controlled processes. The digital leader optimized performance, but the intelligent leader cultivates ecosystems. They don't lead by hierarchy, they lead by influence, vision, and trust. Measurable transform themselves before transforming their organizations. You see that now? This transformation is both technological and spiritual, in a way, a fusion of machine intelligence and human wisdom. So, as we stand between past and future, between the factory floor and the intelligent cloud, one question defines this moment. Can we lead with both head and heart? Technology will continue to evolve, in fact, faster than ever. AI will write, analyze, and even decide, but leadership will remain human because machines can optimize, but only humans can inspire. Again, Klaus Schwab reminded us that every evolution is, at its heart, a human story. And as we enter this era of intelligent systems, it is not our machines that define us, but the wisdom with which we use them. So, whenever you lead, in business, government, education, or community, always remember this: you are not leading tools, you are leading transformation. And that transformation begins not with algorithms, but with awareness. This has been from industrial tools to intelligent system, rethinking leadership in the age of technological evolution. I want to really appreciate you for staying with me on this program. And I'm Kola Johnson on Armourgate Radio Communications, where we will bring you awesome program. And this is Armourgate, where we'll give you strategically consulting for your company for placement in the global world to make your company grow, not just locally, but globally. Again, next time I'll be coming again with another topic, very insightful and very interesting topic. I want you to keep learning, I want you to keep leading, and I want you to keep being human. See you on the next one. Thank you.